This will be a trip over the western part of the Grand Canyon, and naturally that's a little bit east of Overton and south. So the first thing we'll be doing is flying over there into the part of the Grand Canyon, and we fly right over the valley of the colorful rocks, and I couldn't resist taking a little bit of a picture there. This is where the Colorado River comes out of the canyon basically and heads into Lake Mead, or if the lake was high enough, there would be water right at the bottom edge of the screen. But of course Lake Mead is about 120 feet lower than normal, and so the Colorado River kind of continues for a while after getting out of the canyon. In the upper right part of the screen, on the mesa up there, is the Grand Canyon West Airport, and this airport is mainly for tourists who are going to visit the Skywalk. The image is a little bit shaky. I had some vibration where I had mounted the camera, and I haven't quite figured out the right software in order to stabilize the image. It was actually quite smooth as far as the turbulence in the air is concerned until towards the end of this. And right now we're shooting a bit into the sun, and the sunlight in that angle causes the camera to kind of wash out the colors. I don't think there'll be a whole lot of commentary on this one. There are a few interesting features up ahead. Of course, the Skywalk, which we can't quite see, and the Grand Canyon West Airport, which is still in the upper right corner. There is an interesting feature in the middle of this. We fly over some volcanic lava flows that are black, and they're saying at about 100,000 years ago, more than a dozen times, this black lava spilled down into the canyon and blocked the river temporarily. And up in the upper left corner, you'll see something that looks like some cliffs up there. Those are the Grand Wash Cliffs. We'll fly right over those on the way back to Overton. And here we're coming up on what looks like a little road towards the center of the screen coming up, leading to some kind of observation tower or observation area. At least that's what it looks like. And once again, this is the western part of Grand Canyon, which it doesn't get as many visits as the main part or the eastern part. We're flying throughout almost all of this video at 9,500 feet above sea level. And now we're making a turn, and you can see the Grand Canyon West Airport. Not much for houses around there. About the only thing is that Skywalk. The skywalk is an all-glass tube that hangs out over the edge, and right now it's that little building about 1/3 of the way down on the screen and coming up on the center of the screen almost. There it is on the center of the screen and 1/3 down. It's a glass tube that you can walk out, and it's entirely glass, and you can walk out off the edge and look at the canyon. Supposedly it's a new tourist attraction put in 5 or 10 years ago to get more people to look at the western part of the canyon. Now, from the air, I could actually see the glass tube, and I can almost see it out there. It's a little bitty light spot off the edge, right where that building is. The road, of course, goes to it. Unfortunately, I could see it from the air pretty easily, but I can't see it in the video other than that little brief spot. Trust me, it's really there, and it's really glass, and I suppose the reason it's hard to see in the video is it's transparent, top, bottom, and sides, and so it doesn't show up very well. This is interesting, of course. The Colorado River is going across the middle, but there are all kinds of side canyons and washes going into it. That's sort of a standard feature. On the right side of the screen, it looks like there's a road or ATV trail going out to the edge of the canyon. Presumably, if you're a hiker or you've got an ATV, you can make your way out there. And one of the common characteristics is the top layer of the canyon, it's pretty flat, and if there's any vegetation, there is mostly sagebrush or maybe juniper trees. Again, we're at 9,500 feet. Field elevation, or the ground underneath us, is about 4,000 or 5,000 feet above sea level, so we're about 4,000 feet above the ground right here. I suppose if you're an ambitious hiker, you can hike all those canyons and side canyons and possibly get lost and never be found again. I haven't seen any rafts or boats on the Colorado River, and presumably the month is March. This is apparently not the rafting season. It must be summertime. The Colorado River continuing the upper right south right now. It makes a bend and it comes back, turns after a while to the left, and straight ahead, fly straight ahead from here, which we'll do in a little bit. You'll hit the river again. We're going to take that little shortcut and eliminate flying over the south bend. Mainly because I have to compromise on the amount of fuel we have in the airplane, and I'd like to make it back to Overton with the usual fuel reserves without having to stop for more fuel, which is actually a little bit hard to do. There are very few airports around here that have fuel. There are quite a few landing strips, and like you saw, the Grand Canyon West Airport's a nice airport, but they don't have fuel. There are a lot of landing strips which were originally used either for mining or for ranches, as flying was about the only way to get out to them. Right now we're looking southeast. Again, in the upper right corner, the Colorado continues for a ways. Well, that's actually maybe a wash going into the Colorado. When the sunlight starts coming from the side, you can see in the bottom left corner, you start seeing more colors. In person, you see a lot more color, but the range of the colors and the light, darkness, and brightness is hard for the video camera to pick up all of those all at the same time. Again, we're kind of looking into the sun, and that's not really a good angle for seeing the colors and so on. And it looks like we're making our turn to go east or northeast, taking a shortcut. We'll pick up the river on the other side of a high area with some trees and brush on it. The camera right now is pointing more or less northeast, and we're taking a shortcut. see the Colorado and pick it up again a little ways ahead. Now, the canyon you see on the right side isn't the Colorado River. That's just a wash or a side canyon leading to it one way or the other. At the bottom of that canyon, it looks like a nice hiking trail along the wash if you're a very ambitious hiker. I think I could use a faster airplane. We're only doing about 100 miles an hour. Then this gets a little boring after a while. But there are vast areas that look like this around the Grand Canyon. Now up ahead, near the top of the screen, there's a darker green area on top of the mesa. Now that is some small vegetation, which is either sagebrush or small juniper trees. Someday I'll have to fly down low and have a look and find out how big they really are, but they appear to be quite low to the ground. And that flat area, the mesa, is about 6,000 feet or a little bit more above sea level. And if we're at 9,500 feet, that means we got about 3,500 feet above ground level as we cross over them. And I'm sure a geologist would know what all the various layers are from different time periods. I guess the main thing is at one time this was part of underwater as a shallow inland sea for most of the U.S. And so that's where all the sedimentary rock came from, and that's the rock that's easily erodible. And most of this is sandstone. If you're watching this on a computer, you can tilt your monitor possibly a bit up or down to change the brightness and it possibly some more. Once again, it's awfully hard for the camera to pick up the full range of colors, brightness, and darkness. There's that vegetation of some kind. It could be sagebrush, it could be juniper trees. That's on the lower right. Camera is trying to pick a compromise in the brightness, so and this sharp contrast, some things are overexposed and some things are underexposed. Coming up at the center of the screen, it looks like a couple possible water holes, and also right in the lower right corner, a little bit of snow on the ground. There are scattered water holes in the higher elevations. Right in the middle now, lower third, center of the screen, those are water holes. I don't know how good the water is. But the higher elevations tend to have more moisture and vegetation. We're getting a little better angle on the sun now from the right-hand side. And I believe on the right-hand side of the screen, you can see Colorado River again. At least briefly. By the way, if this gets too tedious, I think on YouTube with that little ear-shaped symbol, you can actually speed things up by a factor of 2, which would mean we'd be flying at 200 miles an hour, although it might make the narration sound a little bit odd. You can also easily jump ahead by just clicking on the slider at the bottom. At this point, we're following the river as it turns towards the east. And straight ahead in the view, near the top of the screen in the middle, you'll see some black areas. That is cinder cone lava, I believe. And they're thinking about 100,000 years ago, several times, volcanoes, which we'll be able to see the cones a little bit. They actually spilled over their lava into the Colorado and blocked the flow, at least temporarily. I like those mainly because it's about the only geologic feature that I know anything about. You can see in the middle upper part of the screen some of the lava flows spilled over onto the land and didn't get down into the river, and others went over the edge and spilled down into the Colorado. These are on the will be on the left side of the river. They're near the upper part of the screen right now, but we'll get closer. The Colorado River goes on through a rather narrow canyon going out the upper right corner of the screen. We don't have enough fuel on this flight to go up there. We'll turn around right over the lava flows. It looks like there is a hiking trail or an ATV trail going up through the lava. If you're a hiker, you could possibly hike all the way up there. Although I've heard that the lava is very sharp and cuts up your boots pretty easily. I think that one of those lines would be quite a narrow one, possibly one of the white lines that you see in the rock layers corresponds to the time 65 million years ago with the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs. I'm not sure which line it is, but I do think that one of those lines matches that. And there you can see the black lava. In fact, looking up to the upper right, you can see even more flows where it had spilled over the edge going into the river. And they're a little hard to see, but right in the center, near the upper part of the screen, you can see some cone shapes, and they even have craters in the center. Those, I assume, are the volcanoes that spilled out the lava. And once again, the Colorado goes kind of straight up to the upper right through that narrow part again. And it might be interesting, but near the very top of the screen, just a little bit to the right of center, there is a landing strip in that valley. It's quite close to the cliffs. It's very hard to see. I can't see it right now. Yes, it's certainly a good thing lava flows happened 100,000 years ago, because these days I'm sure they would never be able to get the environmental impact statement to pass muster for dumping stuff in the river. We're making a turn here just to look over things a little bit. I think this is a complete 360-degree turn. Now we're looking back where we came from. That looks like a trail out there. I don't know if you're allowed to use motorized vehicles in this area, but you can always hike. Looking more or less to the east right there, that's the Colorado. Going further east, the narrow part of the channel. We're looking in the direction of Overton. In fact, right in the upper right corner are probably the Virgin Mountains, way out there. We're about 100 miles from Overton right now. There you can see in the upper right a little bit of the cone-shaped volcanoes, at least one of them. And we're looking back towards the northwest or the west. We're about to cross over another large wash or a valley, and I believe off on the other side, you can't see it in this camera view, to the right, there's a paved runway. And once again, the runway may be paved, but there is no fuel available and no services. And that does look like the black lava down on the left center, where it pushed up against rocks, kind of flow was interrupted maybe. And we're leaving the Colorado River off on the left side of the screen. We're going over basically other parts of the canyon which feed into the Colorado, but they're quite a ways away from it. It's quite a huge area of this sort of terrain. Looks like in the lower left corner there was a trail or a path, but a landslide looks like it blocked it right in the lower left corner. It looks like that was quite a while ago. I would guess that the gray areas near the bottom of the screen are landslides, where the upper material has fallen down. I'm seeing more trails or roads here, and we're getting into an area I think that was used a lot for ranching, for cattle grazing out in this area. There are more water holes and occasionally an abandoned airstrip and even abandoned buildings. I don't think anyone has cattle out here in this area right now. The ground elevation above sea level is probably about 5,000 feet in this area, and we're still at 9,500 feet above sea level. Coming up near the center of the screen at the top, there are some areas that look like they've been cleared of the vegetation, and I'm not sure what caused it. The break lines would seem to indicate that they were man-made. I'm not sure, maybe somebody was trying to make fields for raising cattle or raising grass for them or something. There are water holes scattered in this area coming up, so at one time it may have been used for cattle grazing. In the Northwoods we would say that it looked like these were done for logging. There's a little closer view of them, but I don't think the vegetation there is good for any logging. And actually, Overton is ahead by maybe 40-50 miles. We're about to cross over some cliffs, and these are referred to as the Grand Wash Cliffs. There's a drop overall of at least 1,000 feet, and I assume the Grand Wash is named that way because it heads for the Colorado River and Lake Mead. And on the just about straight ahead are the Virgin Mountains, I think, are more to the upper right. The other mountains may be Golden Mountains. Lake Mead would be off on the upper left screen, and now we were picking up a little turbulence. The winds were actually coming towards us, and they're going up over the cliffs, and that causes not only some turbulence, but also the rising air gives us lift. It would be nice in a sailplane. Along that whole ridge, there was a lot of lift. I had to lower the nose to reduce the power to stay at the same altitude. I see patches of snow and the white things down there. And it's the middle of March. They get snow up here, although it doesn't seem to last very long. And we're going to go over the cliff, and straight ahead would be the Grand Wash itself. Yeah, the Virgin Mountains are on the upper right. The Old Butte Mountains sort of a little bit to the left of center, and we're almost headed directly towards the Valley of the Colorful Rocks. I promise I didn't take any more pictures of those. And Overton is just over the Valley of the Colorful Rocks, just a little bit to the right of center. Once again, there are lots of trails and also possible water holes down there. Yeah, there's a water hole right coming up, heading towards the left side of the screen near the bottom. And a little turbulence. Lake Mead, it would be off to the left, sort of off the wing to the left. And the longer part of the Grand Wash Cliffs is off the right side, but we'll make a turn and get a look at that in a little bit. Virgin Mountains, heading towards the center of the screen, just about center right now. There are the Grand Wash Cliffs, looking to the north. And we'll make another turn. Looking out to the south. Quite a bit of snow in the shaded areas. And now we're turning back, coming towards the center of the screen would be the Old Butte Mountains, and then on the left side, Virgin Mountains, and straight between them would be the Valley of the Colorful Rocks and Overton. I think we're thankfully coming to the end